to another episode. So, today I'm going to be talking about Legion Season 2, Episode 3. Another good episode, another great season, and makes you think. Last episode had to do with, madness and whatnot. Episode 1 had to do with reality and illusion and perspective. And this one was more on the. This one more episode 3 dealt with illness and reality, physical reality, not mental reality, like episode 1 or episode 2. This was more of physical reality, which is similar to reality, but a different context of reality. There's a lot of different realities out there. There's physical, mental, spiritual reality, and others. Anyways, so right off the bat, we get another teaching lesson. Kind of like episode 1 and episode 2, but technically episode 2 kind of strayed from that, which it goes back and forth. I see a pattern there. But anyways, it's still pretty good. I mean, makes you think and question if this is the real reality or is it just, something else. And we get more tie-ins to the main X-Men stuff. When David talks about, or when Amar Farouk, aka the Shadow King, talks to David about him not being a villain, or telling David about the word villain and whatnot, and talking more about his side of what the battle was like between Professor X and the Shadow King. And the difference between who's good and who's bad is still in question, I guess. I would say is in question because you have Amar Farouk, aka the Shadow King, who says he was a fair, just king, aka ruler, and you have the monks of the Miko order, who we don't really know a lot about them in the show, just that they have channeled their powers, I guess, or have learned to control their powers in a way. And the egg-shaped coffin, pretty impressive. Looks kind of like the comics that he was kept in. His body was kept in from the comics, but other than that, pretty fantastic. The difference between the future, there's tons of future and, you know, and stuff going back and forth, and it takes an interesting take on David, because last time we saw David in last season, he was captured by an orb, and before that, we saw him in a car with his mom from Legion, the movie, which ties in with this, with which season 1 does tie in to the movie, because in the movie he is born and everything changes from there. So from there, he's being fed on by the Shadow King, and he thus goes to Professor Xavier. Professor Xavier sends him to family, and he's raised by this family who adopts him as their own, as well as knowing that he's an Omega mutant, except for the sister. I mean, she kind of knows, but kind of doesn't know, to an extent, I guess. But it's pretty good. And then now we get into season 2, where we have the monks of the Miko Order and the Shadow King, and making us question who's right, who's good, who's evil. That's what I feel like is the common theme in season 2. Is, okay, we established that the Shadow King is evil, right? But in season 2, it's like, okay, so season 1 was more of letting us know that David is a powerful mutant, and the Shadow King is, quote unquote, the bad guy. So, who is the bad guy now? It's David. Is David, who was being fed on by the Shadow King, the villain? Is Amar Farouk, aka the Shadow King, still the villain? Or is it the monk of the Miko Order, or the monks of the Miko Order? Who really knows? But it plagues the question. In this season, it's starting to make you question from the egg idea, or the idea of perception, reality, and the universe. Who's right or wrong? Because in episode 1 of Legion, it starts off with a cool, amazing segue into the show and whatnot, saying that everything starts with an idea, which it usually does. And then it begs the question as the show goes on about perception, reality, mental reality at that. And then it goes on to talk about illusion and what's the difference between illusion and not illusion. And this more episode 3 was talking about and begged the question of illness and the placebo effect and the no placebo effect. Which you can't have a placebo effect without the nocebo effect, which I kind of like because it's different and it makes you think about illness, physical illness and mental illness. And that's different, different but good. I could talk about Legion all day because one, I'm an X-Men fan. Even though, yes, he is Professor Xavier's son, and the timeline is all messed up, but it's okay. It's all good. Everything is worked out for the better, And, it's catchy, and it's good. It keeps you intrigued. More and more, And the chapters are done perfectly, I would say. I mean, yes, there are flaws, but you can't please everybody. I mean, you can please some, but you can't please all. But other than that, I have nothing wrong with Legion, the main X-Men, and pretty much it ties into the main X-Men core, the main X-Men group, the main X-Men saga, kind of like The Gifted does, Everything has to tie in, because with everything going on and Marvel and Fox coming together, it's you need some kind of format, and that's what Legion does. It plays on both the main X-Men side of things without directly mentioning the main X-Men group. I mean, yeah, they mention them, like Professor Xavier. They hint at Professor Xavier, which I kind of want to see in season 3, if they do season 3. But the way the show is going, it's gonna get another season because more and more people are talking about Legion and how good it is and stuff like that. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Please like, subscribe, and have a good day.